Let's check out Street Fighter Alpha 3 Ryu and Ken from Storm Arena, otherwise known as Storm Collectibles. What's up, everyone? So recently I picked up Street Fighter Alpha 3 Ryu and Ken from Storm Arena. Um, I've been a big fan of the Street Fighter series, so I wanted to check these out. Storm Collectibles is usually known for doing figures that are at least about 7 inches, if not taller, and have them under a 1/12 umbrella, but they didn't really fit in with other figures that were truly about 1/12, that are around 6 inches, maybe a little bit more than that. So I guess they recently decided to start doing some figures that were true 1/12 scale figures. They did Baki and a few others. Then they jumped into doing Street Fighter. So I wanted to check them out. So right now I have Ryu and Ken, and I might get Chun-Li. I don't know if I will complete this wave because recently heard that Jada Toys is going to be doing the same. Now, the price point for these Storm collectibles is a lot more affordable compared to their taller figures. But anyway, that's enough jibber jabbering. I think we're going to check out Ryu first. Here we have Storm Arena, here and here. We see the figure of Ryu, his image, Capcom, Street Fighter Alpha, Ryu, pretty much kind of like the life bar here, and level 3 Ryu. Here's the side of the box. Here's the back with the various different poses, barcode. Here's the other side, basically the same. Here's the top. And then the bottom with all the legalese and stuff. Here we have Ryu out of the packaging. He doesn't come with a whole lot, but I guess he doesn't need to. We have the figure, a couple other hands, alternate face, the back of his bandana, and his Hadouken effect. He also does come with a stand that you need to put together, which should be easy enough. And then also, he does have this nice little backdrop that you can use, which is pretty cool. So after getting Ryu and all the other contents out of the clamshell, I thought the bandana back piece you just had to put on. But when I looked at the back of Ryu, he already came with one. So I guess part of the packaging maybe that's why they came with this one that you just attach to this alternate head. The back of the bandanas are basically both the same. That just caught me a little strange. This is the first time that I've opened a Storm Collectibles figure. I have other figures from Storm Collectibles, but they're still in packages. I haven't really checked them out, but Ryu looks pretty awesome. I was messing around with them a little bit ago, and he felt good. Just one thing to kind of keep in mind when you're messing around, the little straps, they might easily come off when you're putting him in different poses. That's kind of what happened to me. So when I go over some of his articulation, I'm probably going to do it without the straps. But when it's in, they do rotate, so it'll help make some poses look pretty cool. But I'm going to go ahead and just pop it off, and then let's check out his articulation. But yeah, like I said, he looks good. Uh, Moving him, I've not had any issues. I didn't have to heat up anything. Figure feels really good. Has a nice butterfly joint, so you can definitely get his Hadouken pose in pretty good. His arms will and can stay crossed, so I think he will do a better Hadouken pose, a little bit better than the Jada Toys version of Ryu, at least from the release version, because I know they're doing Street Fighter Alpha 3 also, so I don't know if they will improve the butterfly joints or not. Nice tilt, body can rotate, the arms will definitely come up, a little past 90, not much, but like some people want to put them in that T pose, you can easily do it. Double elbow joint pretty much will go all the way. Rotation on the hand does come on a peg that can swivel and move back and forth. It is nice to know that you can change the hands pretty easy. Uh, I struggle with some figure arts hands, um, just because a lot of the joints are a little bit small for my hands. But anyway, the leg will kick up to about this much, can do a full split. It won't go back much. And there is that drop down hip joint, so it can go down if you need it. There is a thigh swivel, double knee joint. It'll go all the way. The little part of the leg and ankle can swivel back and forth. The foot will go back pretty much all the way, comes up really well, can pivot really good. Also has something that I really like, and that toe joint. I wish some other companies would implement that. And I will also say, similar to Jetta Toys, you can take off the belt and the top of the gi. There's just a little plug right here. Okay, different. This just comes off, but there is a plug that you can take out now. I'm not going to do it. Main reason is with my hand issues, I foresee myself struggling a lot with that, but this is very soft. It'll help, get out of the way of doing some poses. But if you wanted to, you can take this off. Sorry that I'm not going to show that, but I've stated why. But since you can remove this and it's on a little peg, you can rotate this from side to side also. Ryu does come with his stoic look and two fisted hands. And here's Ryu with his alternate head with gritting teeth and his open hands for him to do his Hadouken or palm strikes. And here's a closer look at his Hadouken effect. One thing I forgot to mention, when you're changing the joints, the hands, be aware that these cuffs can come off, and you don't want to lose these to the carpet monster. So just be aware of that. Yeah, silly me forgetting a couple of things. I didn't go over his ab crunch, and his does have a pretty good ab crunch, and you know decent back bend. And if you do get this figure, there is a cut here up near the diaphragm, so you can get more than one kind of twist, not just from the waist, but the upper body does have a little bit of movement also. But yeah, sorry for being silly and forgetting to show off if he has an ab crunch or not. Here's Ryu. Just wanted to show that he does come with a display base, display stand. This is basically what it looks like. Um, I guess you can either just have them using the Hadouken, or you can put them in here. And it also kind of comes with one of these metal ones. So you can change out this one for the plastic if you want. I'm mostly going to use the base for the Hadouken effect, and you can take it down one if you want. You have to just pull them apart. Um, and then you can also place it. There are 5 different areas that you can put them in. So I would probably just use the center one uh, for the Hadouken. For a little size comparison, I have Ryu standing next to Fury Planet Blade Master Wang and G.I. Joe Classified Series Storm Shadow. Here's Ryu standing next to a Phase 1 clone from Star Wars and Admiral Thrawn from the Ahsoka series. Both again are from Star Wars Black Series. And here's Ryu standing next to Ryu. Uh, this one is the Jada Toys Ryu and the Storm Arena Ryu. They look great. It's, I guess, a matter of preference. This one is more towards the older style of the Street Fighter games, and he's a little bit tanner, darker. And this Ryu is more towards the Street Fighter Alpha series, and he's a little more paler. But they look great. I think the Storm Arenas Ryu would definitely pair well with Marvel Legends because Hasbro recently has been doing Gamerverse figures of Marvel Legends, and we all know that the recent releases are all about Capcom versus Marvel. And I think this is the Ryu that looks like the one that's in the game. But again, you can have either one, they would look great. So we're just going to do a few poses with Ryu. Here's him in his fighting stance, getting ready to take on whoever his opponent is. Looks great, very articulated. You can get him into a variety of poses. Okay, so here I have him doing this high side kick. I normally do this with a lot of my figures, but the trick is with this turntable to get him to stay. So hopefully I can. Wish me luck. He's doing it for a little bit. Will he hold it? No. Yes, maybe. No. There he goes. Here's Ryu doing his Shoryuken. Basically, it's just like a jumping uppercut. Ask Sagat how he got his scar. Pretty much from Ryu. I don't know. I think I forgot to talk, so here I'm doing a voiceover, but here's Ryu doing his spinning kick. I can't remember the name exactly, and I don't think I'm really going to try to pronounce it. Here's Ryu doing his Hadouken. The effect looks cool. As you can see, I had to get a somewhat bigger top because he wouldn't fit with the effect. So since I have this effect on, maybe I'll try doing that high side kick again. If it works, I'll show it. If not, Eh, I'll just move on to the next thing, which will probably be Ken. Okay, let's take a look at Ken. Pretty much he has a lot of the same stuff on the box that Ryu did with the Storm Arena, Capcom, Street Fighter Alpha, but instead of Ryu, you have Ken, an image of Ken, the figure of Ken, the little life bar, level 3. Here's the side of the box. Here's the back with Ken in different poses, and a picture of Ken right here. The other side, here's the top, and all the legalese on the bottom. Let's get them open. Here we have Ken out of the package. They gave him a few more hands than they gave Ryu. Here's his alternate head. Here's Ken, the whole figure. His fire effect for his Shoryuken. His open hands, peace sign, and a pointing hand. Would have been nice if they gave Ryu a couple other hands also. So basically, there's going to be a lot of similarities between Ken and Ryu since they're basically the same mold. The one thing that I will say, and companies like Hasbro, you guys need to take note. The hair here is very soft. It's not a hard plastic shell. And this definitely helps with, well, his head will pop off, but it does help with, some of the poses. It gets out of the way real easily. Um, it doesn't make it difficult to twist his head at all. So, yeah, I think some other companies should take a little note from Storm Collectibles and use a real soft plastic for the hair, for the characters that have long hair. So here's Ken, and I didn't say this before, but Street Fighter Alpha 3 is more of the younger versions of Ken, Ryu, Chun Li, and a few others in the game. The game has some characters that are similar to others in the older series, um, but this is what younger Ken looks like with their longer hair. The articulation is really good. He'll look side to side real easily. Plenty of tilt. He can look up a little bit, not a whole lot, and not just because of the hair. The hair gets out of the way a lot. It looks down pretty well. The hair will kind of stay up, but that's okay. Arms basically the same like with Ryu, will come up pretty much all the way. Double elbow. Bicep swivel. I think I forgot to mention that with Ryu. There is that butterfly joint, so the arms will cross when he does his Hadouken. Um, Actually, well, they cross a little bit better than some other companies. Um, but yeah, there's the butterfly joint. Like I said, if you wanted to, you can take this part of the belt off. There's a peg there. Take the peg off. Then you can remove the belt, remove the gi. If you want to see him basically topless. Uh, this part of the belt will rotate since it is on that peg. You do get plenty of twist. His ab crunch is pretty good. Back bend is really good. I think it's a little bit better than Ryu's. Um, the same, like I said earlier with Ryu, there is that waist swivel, but there's also a cut here in the rib cage diaphragm area. So you can get a little bit more articulation out of that. There is the drop down joint for the hips. His legs will come up, about this much. Again, he can do the full splits. Not a whole lot back unless you use the drop down hips. There is thigh swivel, double knee joint. Yay, he's happy. No, double knee joint pretty much goes all the way. Like Ryu, the little ankle, little part of the leg will swivel. The foot comes down pretty much almost all the way. Up pretty good. We'll pivot side to side. And again, nice little toe joint. Hands will rotate and they can either go up and down, or if you twist, can go in and out. So starting off, Ken comes with his stoic look, two fisted hands. And here's Ken with his smirking face and his somewhat open palms. And Ken also comes with his peace sign or his victory hand and a gesturing hand. He's like, come on, bring it. And here's a closer look at his fiery Shoryuken. And you basically just kind of plug it into his fist. I don't think it matters which fist you put it in. Here he is next to Storm Shadow from G.I. Joe Classifieds and Fury Planet Blade Master Wang. And here he is next to Admiral Thrawn and a clone trooper, both from Star Wars Black Series. And here we have Street Fighter Alpha 3 Ken standing next to Jada Toys Ken. Very close in size, but the Storm Arena Ken is barely taller. One thing I forgot to point out or show was the base, the display stand that comes with Ken. It's a little bit different than Ryu's, since Ken doesn't come with the Hadouken effect. It's just the stand. So I might use this one in some of the poses. Here's Ken getting ready for his match. He's definitely maybe taunting his opponent or tell him, come on, bring it on. Let's do this. Figure is awesome. Liking the articulation. Let's see what other pose I can get him into. You seen me do the pose with Ryu, so I thought I'd show the same with Ken. I'm not going to try to put it on the stand. If you watch at the end of the video some of the, I guess, I wouldn't call them bloopers, but where I've tried multiple times to get him to stand, to get Ryu to stand on the display, the turntable, and it didn't work. But just show that I'm not holding it with my hands. There is my hands, and nothing is holding him up except for his own balance. And here's Ken doing his aerial spinning kick. As you can see, I am using the display base that he came with. It looks cool and all. It's just a little bit of a pain for me. Again, with my hand issues, I was going to try and use the little metal clamps right here, and well, it didn't like my hands, so I didn't use that. Tried to put it around the waist. Instead, I used the plastic one that it is already in it, and it's holding his leg very well. So went with that. Again, I would probably only use the display base if he came with the Hadouken, which he didn't. I might use it where he's doing his Shoryuken. Speaking of that one, let's go ahead and get to that pose. Here's Ken doing his Shoryuken. The fire effect is attached to his fist, using the same display stand. Looks cool. Definitely dig it. Definitely would recommend him and Ryu. These figures are pretty awesome. Let me know what you think in the comments below. So at the end of the day, I'm really impressed with these Storm Arena figures. Ken and Ryu, they feel great. They're very well articulated. The poses, they can hold their pose really well. Am I all in for this? That is to be determined. I know when they do Chun-Li, I will pick her up. As for the others, I'm not sure. Again, I know Jada Toys is going to be doing this line also. So, whether you like Storm Collectibles or Jada Toys, it's primarily a choice for you to make. Like either or like both of them. The price points, basically are really close, and for what you get, I'm down for it. So that's basically going to do it for this video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you like the videos that I do, I definitely would appreciate a subscribe. It's free. It's not hard to do. It's that little button down there. But I'm going to wrap this up. Let me know which version of Street Fighter is your favorite. As Simo says, collect what you like. Be awesome to one another. Until the next video, Hadouken!